Welcome back to another episode of the Unraveled and Rising podcast. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you have been here before, thank you for coming back. We so appreciate you. We're very excited today because we have a really cool guest that we found, and we're just excited to start the conversation with her. Before, though, I have my wonderful co-hosts, Kimberly and Terry. Hey, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, happy to be here the week before Thanksgiving. This is our, we're actually recording a couple more episodes. One on the weekend with Terry and I, and then next week, Kimberly and I are going to record an episode on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We're going to be extra grateful and thankful that day because that's the season. But I'm so excited, like I said, about today because our guest today, Courtney Stanfield, a veteran Canadian TV broadcaster, mom of 3, and the visionary founder behind Air Out, an anonymous chat app that gives people a safe place to vent, confess, brag, or just breathe without judgment. What started as a late night dream has become a global movement in emotional freedom, helping people let go of guilt, shame, mental clutter by simply letting it out. So, Courtney, we are so happy to have you here. Thanks for coming.
I am excited to be here. I am in Canada, so no American Thanksgiving for me, but happy Thanksgiving and festive season to all of our friends south of the border.
Yes, you guys have it in October, right?
We did, yeah, mid-October.
Yes. Well, happy late Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you. Any excuse. Hey, maybe I'll go get some more pie today then. So
there you go. Absolutely. So, Courtney, please just give us a little bit of background on how this Air Out idea and this passion came to you, and let us know how that happened because we're interested.
Sure. First of all, let me say I never in a million years thought I would be here 2 years ago. I never thought I would be here. Life unfolds in funny and interesting ways. And if you're willing to take one step in front of the other, it'll take you somewhere that you never thought possible. So for anyone listening that is at kind of that apex or a turn in life, just go all in because it is worth it. So the backstory is I had a long and successful, exciting career in broadcasting in Canada, working for all major national networks. Then we had 3 babies in less than 2 years. We really jumped in. We had twins and then another one a year and a half later. So as you can imagine, life got pretty intense really fast. And as a result of my husband and I not living around family, we felt it was best that I take a step back to be home with my kids, which I do not regret. It has been hard and challenging to lose a piece of yourself because my career really was a huge part of my identity and how I showed up in the world. So I don't regret it, but it was absolutely challenging. And during that period, when I was home with the kids, they were all 2 and under. So really intense, really hands-on. I found myself not having the best time all the time, understandably, right? And I thought if only there was a place where we could be truly honest and we could just say the things we're feeling just to get them off our chest, whether they're true or not. You know, in the heat of the moment, when you're mad or when you're fired up, you just need to say something, right? It just needs to come out of you. And I thought, but you can't express a lot of that stuff in motherhood without someone judging you. You can't have a really tough moment and question, was this the right thing? Or say, maybe I shouldn't have became a mother without someone immediately having that knee-jerk reaction of, oh, how dare you? And don't you know how lucky you are and fortunate you are? And yes, of course I am. I love my children. I have 3 beautiful, healthy children. Very blessed, but that doesn't mean I'm not allowed to have tough moments. So I thought all of these women, and especially Air Out started for mothers, but it's really evolved, which we'll get to. But I thought all of these women are stuffing down these feelings and it's being layered on top of each other. And then the guilt comes and the shame comes. And we start looking around at other women and we're thinking, oh, well, she seems to be having a better time. Why is it coming easier to her? Or, well, she can still maintain her job and her kids. Why couldn't I? And all these comparisons that then change how we feel about ourselves and then change our reactions. They change how we show up for our families, for ourselves, for our partners. And I thought we just need an outlet. So I didn't go looking for an idea. That was just kind of in my mind. And then it was March 2024. I had this dream that was so vivid. It woke me up and I started emailing app development companies in the middle of the night, 2 a.m. I started emailing them because I know absolutely nothing about tech, nothing. And so it was this dream where I could see the space. Air Out is very minimalist. It's 100% anonymous. It's almost like the beginning of the internet style, just basic text. You can't tell who it's coming from, where it's coming from, and it's just that release. And in the dream, more than anything, I could feel how people felt. I could get the sensation of the drop shoulders, the deep breath, finally some clarity and peace of mind because you had that outlet. So one thing in front of the other, and I just emailed app people that, thank goodness, there are people that know how to make this stuff because I could never. I wanted to quit 100 times over the year that it was being built. It's very labor intensive, cost intensive, time intensive. This app was built with 5 minutes here and 5 minutes there at drop offs and pickups. And I just kept coming back to this intuitive feeling that this needs to exist. There needs to be a place where we can just say the things that we need to say without being held accountable or without attaching to them, without making it seem like that's who we are. We can just say it. And so then it evolved and it went from mothers to absolutely everybody. There is not a single person on this planet that couldn't benefit from having honest, raw, real self-expression, especially when emotions run high. So my work has really become helping people with thought separation, understanding that you have thoughts, but you are not your thoughts, and that the quality of your thoughts is not indicative of the quality of person you are. They are completely separate. And when we can learn to separate them, recognize our thoughts for what they are, just passing mental fluctuations, we allow ourselves that freedom and that space to express without guilt, shame, or judgment and move on with our day.
I love that.
Yeah.
How long ago did you start this, Courtney?
So the dream came March 2024, and then we launched on the Apple Store and Google Play early 2025. So we're still just a baby. We're still just getting out there, but it's been incredible to see kind of how it organically grows and flows and how the right people seem to be connected with the app and they're using it. And I know they're feeling better because they're saying so in the app, whoever they are, wherever they are, these anonymous people. And it's really beautiful to see. So that was always my intention. If everyone could feel just an ounce better, imagine what that would do for the collective, what that would do for everybody. So that was always just kind of my intention, just giving people a place that doesn't exist, that hasn't existed before, where we can start to reverse our thinking, because it is not social media. I want to get that straight, because there's traditional social media is a beast in itself, but really it's your face and your name connected to it. So you're not being authentic. You're not being real. You're putting on a fake front. You're painting a perfect image. And so it's kind of like Reddit and Twitter had a baby because it's short. It's only 100 character input. So it's to the point, raw, real, in the moment, but also completely anonymous, and no one can like or comment. So with traditional social media, you post something, you can be sure you're going to get dozens of comments, many of them likely going to make you feel worse. And by the time you've passed that emotional moment in your day, you're still getting notifications for this tough moment that you posted about that you don't want to talk about anymore. Whereas with Air Out, you just say it and you move on. So instead of looking for the external validation, which we've been conditioned to over the last 20 years with social media, for the first time ever, we're doing this for us. So we're working from the inside out. We are saying it not because we want other people to respond or for other people to acknowledge it. We're saying it because we're being honest with ourselves, and we need to say it.
Yeah. I love that, because oftentimes when we get into this hole of being negative, and we being able to put it out there on Air Out, we would love for people to validate that negativeness, and then we somehow get validated for the way that we're feeling, right? So I love that there's not a place that people can engage to do that.
Exactly. So you can read the last 100 entries in every space, and then they're gone forever. But there is no identifying information as to who's posting it, where you live, how old you are, how much money you make, what you look like. All the things that we think matter no longer matter. So in this environment where you actually can't interact, no likes or comments, I hear from users that there's actually this tremendous sense of community, because for the first time, when we're being anonymous, we can actually be real. We're not second guessing ourselves. We're not filtering ourselves. We're not thinking about what other people are going to say. And so people use this app that's anonymous and faceless, and they leave feeling better than they would have with a name and a face connected to it, which is fascinating and speaks volumes about the negativity and the social pressure.
Well, Courtney, I can say when I was going through my divorce, I felt so alone and I just wanted to be heard. So I wanted to be able to vent all of that stuff, and I didn't have a place to go. So, I mean, I journaled and things like that to let it out. I called it a brain dump. Just a brain dump.
Yeah. Exactly. I love what you were saying, because I often say this is like a mini virtual diary on the go, because journaling, having a diary is so powerful. We know that it's a beautiful thing, but it takes time and space to sit down and write, which by a lot of the time, by the end of the day, when we actually sit down and do that, so much has been forgotten. So much has been lost or picked up throughout the day energetically from other people that we don't even know we're carrying anymore. So this is to the point. You could be sitting across from your ex and roasting him in the app and saying all the things you want to say while smiling at his face. Same thing for your boss when you're at work or when you're with your kids and the sound of your kids' voices like nails on a chalkboard one day for whatever reason, not all the time. Some days are just some days, right? But in that moment, right then and there, it is available for you. And that's exactly what it is. It's just a brain dump. And there are some younger users on there. I can always tell by the way they write and the things that they kind of talk about. But again, it's impossible to know what posts are coming from somebody, but you can kind of follow the dialogue. There'll be 10, 12, 14 in a row, just roasting everything and everybody. And then at the end, they'll say like, wow, I feel better. I'm like, of course you do. Because how many times in our lives do we just want to say it? We're not actually looking for advice. We don't actually want to have a conversation about it. We just want to say it and have it be okay.
I was going to say you need to. Oh, go ahead, Kimberly. Sorry.
I was just going to say, when I knew you're coming on, I downloaded the app. So I've been on there several times. And it reminds me of, I'm estranged from my two daughters, and there's some tough times in that. And I remember telling my husband, because I do a lot of journaling and writing and, reading him this letter. And he was like, "You're not sending that, are you?" And I said, "No," but that, that would have been a perfect place to just put it in there, get it out and move on.
Exactly, because it needs to come out of you. Otherwise, you're not processing it and you're carrying it around. And we can only carry around so much. It's almost, I use the example of physical objects. If I handed you something to hold and I said, this represents, you're a failure. This one represents you're a loser. This one represents you married the wrong person. This one represents, you feel like a bad mother. You're ugly, whatever it is. How many things can you hold until you throw it on the ground and you just snap? And the same thing goes emotionally. So when these thoughts come, which they're going to, if we take a second and process them, or we have a place to put them, they're no longer living in us rent-free. So we're not drowning under this heaviness, which is then going to impact how we show up everywhere else. So it's just having a place, or we can just dump it. So you have a moment, you're thinking about your ex-husband, or you're thinking about your children, and you're starting to get, kind of elevated. And when we get into elevated emotional states, of course, our thoughts are going to reflect that. So what can we do? Well, then we just fire off, say the things that need to be said. No one's ever going to be able to respond, like, comment. So you are totally free to just say it and move on.
Well, and I like that it's 100 words.
Yes.
To the point. You can't just keep
you're like, read a book.
Just say the thing.
That's the thing, right? You go on Reddit, like, holy moly, carve out 30 minutes to read one post, because it is a mini novel. It goes on and on and on. And let's just get down to it. You just need to say, I can't stand this person. I feel like this, or I wish this was like this. End of story.
Well, and that's the point, because sometimes you don't want to get to the point.
Yeah.
So it's like you say all the things without saying the thing.
Exactly. And now we're just going to cut away a lot of that, save you a lot of time. And in addition to the 100 character limit, I do want to say we have some safety features in place. So language filters, common swear words, anything racist, homophobic will be banned. You'll be encouraged to rewrite in a different way. So the expression is still there, but we want to keep it a safe and inviting environment for people. And then we also have some filters around self-harm. So if there is any language around self-harm or anything about harming oneself, there will be a flag that comes up encouraging you to contact the proper authorities near you, because Air Out is not the place for that. So if you are in that position, to go seek proper assistance.
That's great.
I was going to say too, please tell me there's a voice recognition with it too. So when I'm driving, I can go, Siri, can you please go to Air Out? And because it's like, I have those one. Driving is where I get my most frustration. I don't know. And I'm working on it because I know that about myself. But it's like, if I could just go, Siri, please go to air out and put this in there right now, because my phone just was looking at, which was trying to respond to me just now. My phone lit up as soon as I said her name. But I would love to be able to say it, through that.
That's funny. I actually don't know through Siri. That is a good idea, but it does voice text. So if you're in the app, you can just voice text. And I actually do a lot of that. Well, I am, stopped here, stop there, whatever, and then you say it too. So then you're able to say it faster than typing it. But either way, you still get that same release. It's just a matter of getting it out. And a lot of the time it helps us realize where our thoughts are and where we are emotionally, mentally, because sometimes you need to say the thing to realize if it's even true or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you? Like sometimes you need to say I hate my job. I never should have done this. But once you say it, you think, well, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. And so the thing is with air out is that you don't have to worry about taking it back, so to speak. Like if you have a conversation with someone, you can't unring a bell. You might have relationship problems. You bring someone into it. You're talking to them about it. You just need to have the outlet. They're not going to forget anything that you've said. You're going to move on, likely, and you'll forget, or you're having a tough moment in motherhood. You vent about it, you move on. But that person you brought in may not be as forgiving. They may not forget the same. And then you're worried about, oh, well, remember that time I got really mad. Remember when I said this? And, I just want you to know I didn't really mean it. And I love my kids. And then you're having to justify yourself and go back, and you feel worse for ever saying anything in the first place. So in this way, we're not involving anybody else because it really isn't about anybody else. It's just about ourselves. So there's none of that guilt and shame and questioning that follows a tough moment if we respond in a way we're not that proud of with other people.
I love that.
Me too. I was going to say too, we all know that what we don't say we can hold in our bodies, and that holding that in our bodies can lead to sickness and all other things, which we've talked about on this podcast before. So just being able to get that out is also a health thing, really, because it doesn't get contained in your body at that point. It doesn't stay there.
Yeah, because just because you don't say it doesn't mean your body's not feeling. You feel it, right? And so I love that saying, you have to name it to tame it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you got to say it. You got to say the thing.
Yes, that is what I am all about now. And I'm a bit fiery. I get pretty mad sometimes, and I don't want to have to censor that. I don't want to think about what people are going to say. I just want a place to say it as nasty as it may be in the moment, because I know that's just what I need. It's that energy that's moving in your body. It's just trying to get out. And now you can just do it in a positive way that's not harming anybody around you. So there are 6 spaces, moms, dads, not just for moms and dads, anyone with a mom or dad. So it's really great to see kind of the intergenerational healing, commentary, concerns. There's the work one, everyone knows, work challenges, colleagues, bosses, politics, love, whether you are single and dating. You have a crazy crush on somebody. That's the thing too. It's not all serious. There's a lot of funny, cute stuff on there. Like someone commented that they were at the coffee shop and the barista was so attractive, they felt nauseous. Like, little things that you notice in your day that you just want to share, just, with people. So love is for single, dating, married, whatever it may be, married for decades. And it's amazing how many people, no matter their situation in a couple, there's this underlying sense of loneliness that shows up in the app. And it is fascinating to see how connected we are, even totally anonymously. There is the brag category. That's the one where you're going to say all the good stuff about yourself that you're not going to say to other people. Like you're not going to go to work and say like, hey, look at my butt today. Do you see this? Do you see how good I look?
It looks so good in these jeans. Yeah.
Right? That's the place you're going to own it. Whether you hit a sobriety goal, a fitness goal, maybe you kept your cool when you typically don't. Maybe you stopped creeping on your ex's profile. Whatever it is, celebrate you. That's good stuff there. And then hands down, the most common category ever is vent, which is for the everyday annoyances, the challenging thoughts, the ways in which we feel down about ourselves, or how we wish we were different, or how we wish something somewhere was different. So that category is always popping. There's always something in there. And it's awesome to see that people from all walks of life have these challenges, right? We all have these moments, and it's what makes us human, because we have human brains, and human brains are constantly looking for the next thing to think about.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's all just a reflection of past experiences, past beliefs being projected into the future. And so when we can actually stop
right?
and yes, and like take a moment and like say it, rewrite the script, then we're going to feel differently. And that's going to be such a sense of empowerment. So we're going from guilt and shame to empowered. And you're damn right. I'm allowed to say this because I am a human and this is how I'm feeling. I'm just going to let it run.
Yes. I was going to ask, do you notice that men say things differently than women, or like men are sharing things that you didn't expect that women are sharing something different? Because there's, like the dads versus moms, what's the difference in how the gender shared?
So it is hard to tell who is a man and a woman, because in the dad's chat, of course, you can be talking about your own father.
Oh, I see.
You could be talking about your partner as a father. So it is difficult to identify in that sense. But I will say there has been some raw honesty coming out of the dad's chat that is coming from men that has been so refreshing to see, because we know there's this silencing of men. Men's mental health is down because what's the opposite of depression? Expression. Men aren't expressing themselves. So in there, we've seen one person admitted that after a long day at work, they have no interest or energy for their kids, and they don't want to be around them, and they hate themselves for it. Another person wishing that they could be a stay-at-home dad. Another person wishing they could be a dad, longing to be a father, and questioning if that dream is ever going to come true. Other guys talking about how they feel like they don't have a voice in the room. They don't feel like they have a right to complain or share how they're feeling next to their partners, next to their kids, and their needs come last. Men expressing how they feel like their only job is to provide, go to work, make money, shut up, which is not at all what most of us would say we want from our partner. We want them to feel that way, but we know lives are busy, families are busy, there's a lot going on in a home, and often men feel like they're taking a backseat to expressing themselves. So I think, especially with men, now that we have this anonymous forum where vulnerability can really be expressed because there is no way to know it's you. So it's been refreshing to see men kind of sticking their toe in the water, so to speak, with self-expression, because it's something they're not conditioned to. And my husband has been really helpful along the way with the process and telling me, how he feels and where he feels he has a voice, and to be able to express himself in there. And a funny story for you guys. So when the app first launched, obviously there's no one using it, right? So it was my husband, me, and like a close friend. So it was very obvious to tell who was talking about what. And so him and I would get into a disagreement. I'd go on the app and I could see him just firing off. And I'm like, excuse me, this is me. And he's like, yeah, well, this is me. So now I can say safely there are enough users that I can't actually identify his voice. But it was really funny early on when there was only a few of us. But
I love, I work in the recovery space. So 12-step recovery. And I like how you have the brag space, because we encourage that to all the things that you can name off that are not good, to have something that you can also give yourself credit for. So I like that you encourage that. And then the other thing you said about men is, and that brings me back to the recovery space, is that culture has often, well, not often, has taught men to stuff down their emotions, and that it's not okay to be emotional. And what I found in the 12-step group is that men are very emotional. Mm-hmm. And it's this weakness if you show your emotions. And so they often do stuff them down. And I know for me, being married, that was so frustrating, because I was highly emotional and I just wanted him to be emotional. And they really are, but there's this fear that culture has put out there that men, it's not okay to be, you're not a man if you're emotional. So I love that this space gives them the freedom to be able to express that.
Yeah. And they don't have to tell anybody that they're even on there. It's different than talking to your friends. We say, well, talk to somebody, open up. That can be really intimidating if you're not used to it. Or if you're a man and you're worried about being ostracized or becoming the joke or having people, make fun of you, make you feel worse. This is a space where you can start to do that. And then we're not going to have those pressure cooker moments. So we're not going to have those big rage fests, and we're not going to snap because we're getting conditioned and used to expressing ourselves slowly and more easily throughout the day. And when you don't have to tell anybody that you're on there, you don't have to show anybody, you don't have to interact, you're actually free to start experimenting, which we have been laying the groundwork for years now. Men, open up. We want to hear how you're feeling. But my husband said, even though we say that socially, that it's acceptable and encouraged now, very few men are actually taking that step. Like, my husband's like, I'm not going to be the first one to do it, but I know he uses the app because I know no one else knows he's using the app. So it's different, right?
Well, and when I talk to the women at the prison, I remind them that, those first 7 years were programmed by things that are going on in our environment and by the people that we are caregivers and those people that we share life with. But in some cultures, it was not okay to express yourself. So some people have learned that is not okay. And so this is a relearning, right?
Totally. And I don't think that's just for men. That's for anybody. A lot of us grew up in that environment. I know that I was absolutely one of them. The time where I was growing up was, I'll give you something to whine about and get a grip, and you're upset. Well, here's the reasons why you're wrong. You're upset. I don't want to hear it. And so I felt silenced a lot. I felt like my needs didn't matter. And if I did express myself, then I was trouble. I was creating problems. I was unlikable.
Well, and then we go internal, and then that's when that inner critic just kind of shows up and then just starts pointing at you and telling you all the reasons of why you're not okay.
And then what do we do with that? Hurt people. Yep. So we have a negative inner voice because we have been told that we're trouble, we're too much, we're too this, too that. And then we turn around and we're going to go and judge everybody else because that's what makes us feel better, because we feel so bad on the inside. So it is a total relearning. Yep. But at the same time, we also need to hold space for the fact that there's not too many people in your lives that actually do want to and would sit down and listen to you moan about the same stuff for days on end, right? So there is this balance, but now we don't have to worry about that. So you can repeat yourself as often as you want, when you want. And I hear this with grief stories too. People say, well, I don't feel comfortable talking to people anymore because they think I should be over it. They think they're tired of me talking about this loss that I went through. Well, then what are you going to do instead? You're going to stuff it down. You're going to feel bad. And then you're going to cut down anybody else trying to express themselves in a moment of grief because you feel like you had to put a lid on you.
And then it shows up in illness. Years on down the road, it shows up as an autoimmune disease or something else because of all the stress hormones that we're continuing to carry and not expressing those. Absolutely.
Totally. And we are so much more alike than people think. Like, we are all going through life with the same operating system, so to speak, different programming, but the same operating system, which is our brain, which loves to run wild, which loves to take on the voices of people around us, that loves to attack on us and turn on us. And so when we can all just take that pause and we can start to respond rather than react, there's this sense of like understanding that comes along with that too. Like, I'm not going to take offense to your words in this moment of heat because I can understand that you are fired up, but not everybody can do that. So they get upset back and it turns into a big fight, and it turns into something that never needed to happen when you just have two people in an elevated state that aren't able to address how they're actually feeling.
Yes.
So it's fascinating how simple it can be to make a monumental change.
Yeah.
I find that fascinating because that was going to be my question, Courtney, about how is it helping us reading other people's messages? How is that helping our own personal growth? And you just touched on it right there, how that's helping those of us just by reading other people's messages. We realize we are more alike, than.
Yeah, we're not alone.
Yeah, and we're not alone. And it kind of helps our own personal growth.
I hear this from people all the time. I think there's a lot of lurkers, people that love to go on there and read, and they will tell me, oh, I love to read it. I had no idea that, someone else thought like that, or I had no idea someone else confessed to some weird thing or whatever it may be. And so that's why I encourage people. I'm like, well, then keep sharing, because people love to read it. Understandably so. You're getting these little insights into people's lives and you're feeling connected to them. And I was doing another podcast and someone had asked me about community. Well, how can you build community in an anonymous forum? And I said, Community has nothing to do with being in the same space as people. It has nothing to do with just because you're in proximity, you're supposed to be community. Community comes from feeling heard, connected, and understood. And so you can feel more connected to a stranger that you have no idea who they are. You'll never be able to find them in a space like that that's real versus people directly in front of you. So even though it's not built to be an interactive community, people actually leave feeling better than they do in a lot of in-person or known communities. And that to me screams that we are so desperate for raw and authentic connection. We are so desperate for people just to be real, to stop censoring what they're saying, stop trying to put on the front, stop trying to tell everyone how perfect your life is, and just spew it so I can feel better and I can spew it back, and then you can feel better and we can be like, wow, okay, we're just people.
And you said something that was just really hit me, was that, you know, this thing that we're all of one consciousness, we're all one. So it doesn't matter what community looks like. You're feeling that energy, or you're feeling what that person's going through. That is just the way it is. And people have a hard time understanding that, but we are all of that one. And so it's easy to feel part of a community when there's absolutely nobody there, but you feel connected in some other way.
Because they speak to you at a soul level. You identify beyond all the garbage of what you look like and how much money you have and where you come from. Like, so we're going back to basics almost with a type of app like this. And I think the world needs it. There's this quiet, like, I don't like a revival of simpler times. I don't know if you've noticed that a lot of people going back to more homesteading ideas, more traditional homes. They are looking for the quiet. A lot of families with young kids going back to 90s, bringing back VHS and VCRs because it was simple and it was basic and it made you feel calm and good in a chaotic and busy world. And I think now at this turning point, when people are really growing tired of social media, and half of social media is AI now, so you're not even getting real people sharing their lives, you're getting computer generated, we're starting to pull back. We're starting to come back home to ourselves. And when we have a space like this, where we can get back to the basics, back to authenticity, that is where we start to really fuel our souls. And I say, like, the more thought acceptance we have, the more self-love we can bring, which is going to bring us closer to our own intuition, which is where all of our passions lie, our natural talents, our gifts, and our soul's purpose. But we can't get there when we're drowning in noise. So a space like this creates more inner peace. It releases some of that mental clutter so we can start to quiet down, come home, and figure out what we are all about.
You said a few things that just sparked something in my spirit, is that people are searching. They're hungry for something different. And the last several weeks at church are, you know, when you walk in, the lobby has been full of people every single week, just searching. To me, that tells me searching. But then the other thing about your app that I love is that your app is giving other people permission. It's giving other people permission to just, even if they're just on there watching, but reading the comments, they're getting permission. And who knows, it's going to help them spark up those conversations and actually release, which is really great.
And it's all okay, because again, it's not you. Your thoughts are not you. Your thoughts are happening because you are overstimulated or overwhelmed or frustrated, or you're ignoring a need or a desire, whatever it is. It's not you. So yes, it is okay to say you do not like your kids today. It is okay to say, I think I married the wrong person. It is okay to say, I can't stand this colleague and I don't ever want to come to this office again. It's okay to say that you can't stand your neighbor. It's okay to admit that, you know, you have a weird fetish, or maybe you steal things from work sometimes, or maybe you like to watch your neighbors in the window, whatever it may be. The things that you're kind of like, oh, should I share this? I shouldn't share this. But we all do something weird, something odd. And so it's okay to share this. It is not a reflection of you, and no one's going to judge you. Like,
what's your long-term goal? What's your long-term goal with this app? Because I noticed, I mean, it's a free app, at least from what I saw.
free to download, and then it's 99 cents a month if you want to continue after a month, and that's just go towards maintenance fees and upgrades and all the things that go along with a big tech operation. But free to download, free to try, and then $1 a month, which someone pointed out on a podcast. They're like, 1 hour of therapy is like $250 ish. So that's like a decade of the app, you know? So
Yes.
Cool.
Depending on, if you get enough out of it. And it's definitely not for everybody. You already kind of have to be on a wellness journey, self-awareness and inner work journey. You have to be looking for ways to feel better. Otherwise, the concept's just going to be lost on you. And people have challenged me a lot on that too. Well, what's the point if people can't respond? Well, you're missing the entire point. The entire point is because you're just doing it for you, right? And so it is a different way of thinking that not everyone's going to grasp, but that those that do, though, see the value, feel the value in their body. And I have no doubt it'll just continue to spread that way. But long-term goals, I really don't know. I truly feel like I was a shepherd in this project. Like I was asked if I would bring this to life. And I did. I agreed. I had no idea what I was doing. And now I feel very much like a spectator, like everybody else, just watching to see how it unfolds and who it reaches and when. And I'm excited to see. Right now, I have no plans for upgrades. I think the app exists perfectly as it's supposed to. In its simplicity, I think there is not one thing in life that you need to vent about or talk about that doesn't fit into the categories. There was someone else too that pushed back. They're like, well, how are you going to stay cutting edge with tech? And I was like, I'm not. I have zero interest in staying cutting edge and being at, the top of the next launch and all these features. I went back in time. This app is built like it's 1995, and that's the way it's intended to be and will be that way. So until I see the need for great change, it is what it is, and it exists. And I'm just excited to see where it goes and who finds it.
I love how you said, if you're coming here looking for the comments, then you've missed the point.
Yeah.
Because then that speaks to the validation. Somehow I'm needing validation, and I'm not.
Exactly.
And that is from others.
Exactly. And that is how so many people are going through life. Well, I need other people to tell me I'm okay. I need other people to hear me. I need other people to do this and that. But you actually don't. Right. You just need to pay attention to you and green light it and move on.
When I realized in my journey that I was doing that, I realized you're judging you, Terry. You need to validate you. Nobody needs to do that. Yes. This is a you problem and not a them problem.
I always say, I'm like, this is a you and you game. This is just you, for you, by you, with you. It has nothing to do with anybody. The fact that you could read 100 is just to make people feel better, just to make people feel that you're not alone, really. Right. But the whole intent is the sending, the putting out there, the release.
Very cool.
And I work a lot with seniors, and this is very simple. So, and a lot of them have a lot of emotions, a lot of things that are going on. So this is something that I would be comfortable, showing them how to download, and then it'd be easy for them to use, Recently had one of my clients switch to a smartphone, and he's about ready to strangle me. But, he had a flip phone, and where he lives, he needs to use Wi-Fi calling, which we can't do from a flip phone. But I can say, well, look you could download, because he's always angry. So I think this might be a good thing for me to share with him.
There are a lot of people that are very angry. And I'm like, you just need a release. You need somewhere to put that stuff, because you got a lot going on in there. And and you don't want to put it on someone necessarily, right? But all ages, we say 13 plus just because we can't guarantee the content on there or the topic of conversation. But the teenagers, the young person group is where I feel so passionate that young people need this outlet, because they are going through a tremendously challenging time. Teenagehood is notoriously difficult. Social pressures, self-doubts, insecurities, changing bodies, big decisions about life. Where do you put all that stuff? Now they're not free to say anything to anybody without it being recorded, shared, tracked, whatever. And so to see young people on there, Redditors, yes. And you want to complain about your parents? Well, go for it. You want to complain about school? Like someone on there talks about how they messed up on their basketball team and they feel like everyone hates them and they're embarrassed to go to school because of that. Like, and they just need to let it out, or they're how frustrated they are that they don't feel understood by their parents. They don't feel like they have any friends. They don't feel like anyone's going to want to date them. These are all valid feelings. And when we give young people a totally safe place to express, it's incredible what that does for them, just feeling like they can feel heard, right? We hear that from young people all the time. I just want to feel heard. I want to feel understood. Well, now you can without anybody, crossed arms glaring at you, telling you why you're wrong.
Courtney, I plan on sharing this with, like I said, I work with a lot of people in the recovery space. I plan on sharing this with them. And not only that, I love sharing apps with my patients at the hospital, just when it comes to like breathing. There's a couple, Endel and some other apps out there that just kind of walk people through box breathing and stuff like that they find really helpful. And then I can have them use in the hospital, right, with me. I'm like, hey, do you have a phone? Let's download this app. And then, so this is a really good one because, when you get a new diagnosis, that is life-changing, being able to vent and not feel like you're a burden to your family is really important to people. And I know, because I understand the physiology of what happens when you hold on to all that stress, and how we change it and change our neural pathways. This will be a great way for them to just release and let it out. And I plan on sharing it with all my kids, by the way.
Well, thank you. Yes, I so appreciate that. Every new voice is one more person to potentially feel better and potentially share it. And not only, you just said it there, the person with the diagnosis that doesn't feel comfortable. How about the family members that don't feel like they are allowed to complain or talk about their lives because they're not the sick one, even though their lives are impacted. They're not the ones going through it, but their life has completely changed too. Well, where is a safe place for them to express themselves?
And the guilt they feel, right? Yeah.
Tremendous. Yes. And so where can you say that? That's not, and especially, like for younger people too, again, the journaling, which is kind of a lost art, which is sad because it would make a lot of people feel better. But also, no one's going to find it. Your younger siblings aren't going to find it. No one's ever going to be able to hold it against you. And you can't hold it against yourself. So that's another thing too, right? So when we keep track of our thoughts and we're writing them down and we see what's coming out of us, we are going to attach a judgment to that. And we're going to look back on those and think, wow, that's embarrassing. Why did I ever sound like that? Why did I say that? Like, this is, when we release it, it's gone forever. So we no longer carry that around. And someone else said,
show up again, and you're not going to read a journal and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I thought that way.
Exactly, because you're going to forget. Last week, last Wednesday, I'm sure I had a heated moment and I had a tough thought and I sent it into the app. I couldn't tell you what it was now. I can't. But if I had a journal and I went flipping through, I'd probably be scared of myself. I'd probably think, oh, wow, what is wrong with me?
Exactly.
But I can let it go. And someone else had asked me that too in the process of building the app. They're like, well, wouldn't it be great if people could keep track of all of the things they say and then they could go back and look at it? And I'm like, no, that's horrifying. No one wants that. This is non-attachment. This is not holding on to it. That is the whole point, because otherwise we're just going to judge ourselves and make ourselves feel even worse. So cut the paper trail. I don't need someone reminding me about the bad thought I had last week. Just let me go, let me be free and move on.
Journal the good things about your vision, right?
Yeah, let's manifest on paper.
They could save that for Facebook or anywhere else if they want to feel bad about something they said.
I was going to say too, Courtney, we have something similar on our website, because we have an area on our website where you can write a letter to your younger self. And it can be, you can decide if you want to put your first name or if you want it to be anonymous, and you can scroll through and read those as well. It's not 100, character limit or anything like that, but the three of us have put our letter to ourselves out there so that people can scroll through and but they can't comment. There's no comments allowed. All you can do is read it. And so it's very similar to that, but I just love the concept of this. And I'm going to download, I didn't download the app prior to this,
I just did, but we're on this. I just did.
Oh, did you?
So you can see it's very, very simplistic, very easy to use.
Working in healthcare, do you know how many times I go into the clean utility room and I'm just like, this would be so good for me.
Exactly. And please do use it. I encourage people. I'm like, yes, I know it's fun to read, but think about the people you are indirectly helping by just saying the thing. So don't second guess it. Don't hold back. Just let it go, because no one will know it's you, and you will absolutely connect with other people.
Yeah.
And that is invaluable when we're talking about the oneness, we're talking about the collective. We need those moments, and we need people to be real. So yes, please do fire up.
We were on our mastermind today, and we were just talking something about this, and it was like, when you're feeling some certain way, go be of service. And sometimes being of service could just be on this app and sharing how you're feeling, because you don't know who you're being of service to, right? Which is a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But I don't think there's any way to actually measure it, but you can almost see there's a guarantee that will reach someone in some capacity. And that is tremendous. And all because you were authentically you.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I love. Like,
I love it.
I love it. I love this, Courtney. Thanks so much for being on here. They can download the app from either the Google Play or the
Apple Store.
Yeah,
Yes.
Apple Store. Yes. So I encourage all of you guys to do that. Go out and just air out. Go out and just let it flow, let it go, just get it out of you. All those things that she's talking about. I'm going to do it today too.
Yes.
There's certain things I need to get out about. My physical appearance. Sometimes I struggle with my, with saying bad things about my physical appearance. I notice. And so it's like, I'm aware of it, but it's like, sometimes I just need to say things like that and get it out of there. And I don't do that. And we even did an episode a while ago that was about saying the things that we are thinking and never say. And I think we were definitely holding back, because I had lots of thoughts, but we were like, okay, we got to make sure we don't go too deep with those.
Because all these people are going to see it, right? And know who said it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Because we see your face, we see your name, we know who you are, and then we're going to go, oh boy. But if it's in text, black and white text from wherever in the world, there's freedom.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yes. And you will actually say the things. And there are so many women on there that talk about their body issues and how they feel about themselves and how they feel like they've lost themselves and they don't like what they see in the mirror. And while it is sad, it's also relatable and normal and something we can all appreciate, that other people are waking up. And that's the first thought too. They go to sleep thinking about their body. They wake up thinking about their body. And now we can be honest. Like, it's just, it's really refreshing. And I thank you guys so much for your time. This has been fun. I've never done a podcast with so many voices. This has been great.
I so appreciate you coming on. Like I said, you guys go out and download the app. If this really, if this is something that inspires you this morning, please like and share, subscribe, share it with somebody that you think needs to hear this, and again, just share the app. You can go out in your communities and share the app as well. Even if you don't subscribe to this, go out and share that app with other folks that need this, so we can all, like she said, be a collective in the app itself and all benefit from it. We appreciate it. Thanks so much, Courtney. We appreciate you being here.
Are we going to put the link to the app in the show notes so we can share it once we're edited and all that?
Well, I can put a link to the Google Play Store, but it's not. It's harder to share a link to that. But yeah, I can.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We have the website too, airoutapp.com, and on there you can link to Apple and Google and just find out more about the app itself too.
Love that. Well, thanks so much, Courtney. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day. Vent away.
Vent away. Let it flow. Let it go.
We will.
Let it